Now, if you do come across this problem where you have to do some troubleshooting with applications, just follow some basic steps for solving this application error, such as step one, definitely, as always, interview your user and backup data. That's your first step for all things. Ask them to reproduce that problem for you so that you can observe and obviously try a reboot always. Like I said, some users get annoyed by this, but a lot of times that will correct errors. Step two in your general steps for problem solving application errors, use the web, use different logs that might help. Like if you're using Windows 7, check the Windows 7 Action Center, see if there's anything there. If you have an older, Windows Vista for some reason, check the problem reports and solutions window. If someone's still using XP, make sure you click the send error report and follow links to find out more information about that error. Next, after you've talked to them, make sure and you're checking these error messages and different things. One of the things that I always say is search the web for any type of help. You're probably not the first person to have this issue. And as I mentioned earlier, go ahead and check your event viewer as well as the reliability monitor to look for any type of clues that might lead you to what's causing the problem with this application. Then step three, consider the data or the application might be corrupted. Perhaps just the settings in the application might be wrong. Another thing you can do is just simply uninstall the application and reinstall. And to add on to that, as you uninstall it, if it's one that you downloaded, may not hurt to download the application again. Sometimes you might see that your file size is different from the original. Like the second one might be larger, and then you'll know you had a corrupted download for that application. And once you reinstall, that error might go away. Then step four is to consider any type of outside interferences, such as a virus. You may have an unknown virus on the computer that's causing that problem, or the application itself may have brought in a virus. Your system resources might be low. Maybe you don't have enough memory to run everything else as well as that application. As I mentioned earlier, you may have other applications that are interfering with your new application. You might even randomly have bad memory all of a sudden. So just start your troubleshooting and see if maybe you have bad memory. Another thing is that a background program might be creating the confliction with that application. So there's a lot of factors there, but just consider those outside interferences. And step five, consider that Windows might be the problem. A problem with an application might be solved by simply updating or restoring the system files in your Windows operating system. Make sure, if you haven't been, make sure to go ahead and download any type of Windows updates that are available so that maybe you can correct the problem on the Windows side with the reason for that application error. And you can use System File Checker to verify and replace any of those important system files you need. And if need be, use your System Restore to restore to an earlier point to where maybe your system was not corrupt. Now, if you do have an application that hangs and you can't close it by clicking on the close box or file exit, there are other ways to close that. As I've mentioned before, you can use Task Manager. Open up Task Manager, find the program, and try to end that process. If for some reason the Task Manager can't do it, you still have the Task Kill command to use, so you can use Task Kill. So you have options for doing that. Obviously, you can shut down the computer, but doing that hard shutdown can cause other problems. Now, sometimes you'll find out that there's a service issue that you have to fix. So when a service fails to start, this could be caused by a corrupted service or a missing service from a program. So make sure you go into Services and to the Services console to make sure the service is set to start automatically if needed. Sometimes you'll see that, let's just use the example of the print spooler. The print spooler service is not set. Something has changed that to not start automatically. So if you set that to automatically, maybe that service will then allow whatever application to function as needed. The last thing I want to talk about is compatibility mode. I've talked about this before. Sometimes you may need to go into a program to get it to run as if your computer operating system is an older operating system. And what you'll do is you go into the properties of that program, click on the compatibility tab, and then check your settings. You may need to run your program in compatibility mode. You'll check that, then you'll use this drop-down list to select an operating system that you know that program ran in, so that Windows can treat that specific program in the manner as if it were on an older operating system. And then you also might need to make sure that program is ran as an administrator whenever it's ran, so you can check that. So just some things to look at in case your program is not working. So if you have any questions of that, try that. And you might find that when you're doing some research, this is where it will lead you, is to run that in a compatibility mode. Well, everyone, that concludes the lecture for Chapter 12 of our Troubleshooting Windows and Applications. Make sure you look through all those type of Windows tools that are available to you and practice using those to help you be a better troubleshooter. Thank you for joining along, and I will see you in the next chapter.